will always stand. E Mungu twaomba uilinde. E Mungu twaomba uilinde. Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Okuvedane dedyodyona, okuvedane dedyodyona, lile kwanga Uganda, nyawani wanyoe kwanga lyafe kwetu lole sizona. Twesimye nnyo olwa Buganda yaffe. Ekitiibwa kya Buganda kyava dda naffe tukikuumenga.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can take up your seats. I'll just take us through the word of prayer just in a minute. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this time. I want to thank you because you've given us a chance to come together. Lord, we knew this day before you knew it. You knew this day before you knew it, and we want to say thank you because we are here to deliberate on issues that are going to shape this country and shape the children of Africa. I pray this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's welcome Abbas Simpindi, the CEO of Media Challenge Initiative, to come and give us an insight on how and why we should have the National Media Dialogue on Education. Abbas studied from Mackay University and went to WUMCAT and did all that and started Media Challenge Initiative with the fellows. Why did he start Media Challenge Initiative? We'd like to understand all that. Abbas, you're welcome.
Thank you, Julius. Hello. Can we have some energy? Hello. How are you doing? This is a youth organization, huh? I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all here at the Media Challenge Initiative. We are a youth organization building the next generation of journalists. If you are here for the first time, feel at home and make sure that before you leave, if you are not a journalist, you have met a young journalist, because this is where they are groomed. And in most cases, we tell them, stay close to the fire and get that connection. I'm very excited for today in particular because we have spent the last 6 or so years working as an education innovation, but in most cases, people think that we are a media development organization. But really, the foundation of our work was to fix what was not working in the media education space. So as a young journalist, I went to ask for an internship at a TV station, and the person on the security point asked me if I knew someone in the media house. And at that point, I didn't know anyone inside. But what I knew was I had the passion, I had the skill, I had each and every requirement that would be needed for an internship. Because for me then, if a security person told me anything, I would just follow. Maybe not today. I went back to UMCAT School of Journalism, and as I was going back, I was thinking about how many other young people every day walk to offices, to media houses, to different offices, and get the same response. And the idea is, how do you reverse nepotism, right? How do you make sure that people get to know as many young people who have the skills and the talent? And that's how we started the first ever news anchoring competition, named after the late Bale Francis. So over the years, we've been, working to make sure that young journalists have access to internship, young journalists have access to jobs, and young journalists have access to training. Which brings me to today. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners, DW Academy, represented here. Please clap for DW Academy. And I would also like to thank BMZ, represented by Ute, and they'll be speaking to us. DW Academy has been supporting MCI for almost 5 years now, and it's a relationship that resulted into this facility where we're seated. So thank you so much. Clap for them. Thank you so much, DW Academy, for believing in the vision of MCI and building the next generation of journalists. So you may be wondering, media and then national dialogue, why are we here? So we started public service delivery reporting trainings. And really the rationale is for journalists, one, to understand their role in covering and reporting public services and ensuring that the last mile or the last pass round in communities is able to get services. So you realize that in most cases, the stories you see about access to public services from our communities, especially in rural areas, is very rare, unless there is a disaster, unless there is maybe a politician visiting a community or launching something. But that's not what's happening on the ground that the world needs to know. For leaders to be held accountable, for them to know what's happening in those communities, journalists must be able to reach those communities and cover stories and also get to document and engage communities. So our work had been skilling young journalists. And the skilling is good, right? But it's one thing to skill someone, it's another thing for them to understand their role in reporting about public services. So that's what gave birth to the National Media Dialogue. That we want to be able to get community voices to the national platform. We have editors here, we have managers here from different media houses that are based here in the capital city. And you also get to see some stories that have been covered specifically from Soroti. And you might say, but would that be a good representative of Uganda? We're using it as a case and be able to discuss the state of education today. So, stories alone are not enough, right? And we as journalists, we can go to the communities and do stories and leave them hanging. What is important is what happens after the story, what conversations happen after the story, what policies are put in place because of the stories we do as journalists. But for that to happen, there has to be a very good relationship between the journalists and the public servant or the leaders that we have. Historically, because of the watchdog role of a journalist, the relationship has not been very good. And we are saying, as journalists, we can spotlight problems, but it's really important that we begin to spotlight what's working in these communities as well. So you will also get to see that. And today, at the end of it all, personally as the CEO, I will consider this a success if in some of the breakout rooms we have conversations between government officials and journalists to understand what's the relationship and how can we improve it, right? And how do we go from here that journalists, or even the young journalists who work with, are able to reach out to government officials and get the relevant information without being told, where is the story going to run? You are just a student. Because the impact of these stories in the long run is that there is really a thin line between school dropouts and the cycle of poverty that you see that a lot of people go through. And all that could be avoided by spotlighting the challenge by the media working together with public officials and being able to have discussions like this so that at the end of the day we all leave when we know our role and responsibility. So our commitment to this is that this discussion will give birth to a document which we'll share with editors on the different ideas you would have shared, and we'll also share it with the Ministry of Education and other stakeholders. The dialogues are a series, so this time it's education. We will also put a focus on health and another issue. We don't decide what issues. We work with community reporters that are under the DW Academy program, and they share with us what issues are happening in the communities. So this time around, we have an issue from Soroti, and that's why we came to discuss education. So I do hope that you have a lot of fun here. And we will put you in some groups, so please participate, share ideas, because at the end of the day, we all belong to this one nation called Uganda, and we have a role to make sure that if this education system works, the next 30 years, 50 years of this country will also look so much better because of the young people that are coming through the education system. So with that as a framing and a starter to the conversation, I would like to invite Miriam. Do you want to say hi to the people? And Miriam has said hi. But do you want to say one or two words before inviting Elena as well? Please clap for Miriam.
Thank you, Abbas. I'm sorry this comes a bit as a surprise. I'm not prepared for that because I was not supposed to speak, but I would like to say hello and welcome to the first National Dialogue. I'm really happy that this event takes place because it is something that we have been working towards for a very long time now. We have started in 2014 with training the first community reporters who are based in several communities in 8 districts now. And they report, no, they do not report, they inform on issues related to public services from their communities. They give the mobile phone to people on the market space, to people on the roads, to people in the schools who can share their stories, and these stories are being embedded into the programs of partner media houses. And today, we listen to these stories also here in Kampala, which I feel is very exciting because how often do we have the chance to really transport these stories to the national level, to the capital? And I am working for DW Academy here in Uganda. I'm based here in Kampala this is my 10th year working in Uganda. And we have visitors also today from Germany. I have my colleague Elena Ern, and from DW Academy, and Ute Eckerts from the Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development from Germany. They are also speaking, so I won't take too long. I would like to hand over to Elena, who will give you some more background. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much, Abbas. It's really an honor for me to be here. It's an honor to participate in that important event on public service delivery. This national dialogue, it is part of the project Uplifting Community Voices. MCI and DW Academy are implementing together with Ugandan media houses. What does it mean, uplifting community voices? How to uplift the community voices? Communities are uplifted when they have access to what they definitely and basically need. For example, water, transport, and of course, education, which is the topic of today. Having this access, they are able to uplift themselves, but they can't do it alone. They need, the national level. It is a national duty. Miriam mentioned before, since 2014, we have been working on the topic of public service delivery, focusing on rural areas and supporting the creation of a network of reporters, of correspondents, delivering stories, like Abbas said before, stories from areas where journalists normally don't go, but there is a need to those stories to be covered. And really, they go to areas that are neglected. This laid the basis for a dialogue with citizens and decision makers, which is something also we find very important. The duty of journalism is to hold those decision makers to account. And now we are going one step further because, and that is something Abbas also mentioned, the national level is so important. It is important to know for journalists in Kampala what is happening outside the city, what is happening far away from them in rural areas. And by doing that, we bring together policymakers and civil society organizations to make them aware of the needs upcountry to deliver better their services. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the radio stations that are working on that. And I'd like to say a special thank to Ute Eckarts, who is representing today the German Ministry of Cooperation and Development. You give us the financial support to do all that, but we are very sure that what we are doing has or gives the sustainable background in order to guarantee public service delivery in the future. So thank you very much for that. And I think at the end of this process, we will have those uplifted communities. Thank you very much. And I give the word to you now.
Good afternoon. It's a real pleasure to have the opportunity to be here today and to participate in this important event. As has been said, I'm Ute Eckarts. I'm representing the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development in Germany. It's called, the short thing, better to listen to, is BMZ. So, and as BMZ, we have been supporting the DW Academy and its partners in the field of media development in Uganda for quite a while, as you have heard. It is very exciting for me to get an insight into the projects now being here, because normally I sit at my desk and don't have much insight in the work going on really on the ground or in the countries. It is, and now my insights clearly show, and we all know how diverse media development is. Media can give people a voice, provide them with information, but also promote constructive dialogue and bring different actors to the table to advance solutions to current issues. That is what we see today. This national dialogue on education taking place here in this room and in the other very nice rooms of the premises is an excellent example. Education is a human right. Education holds opportunities for development, both for the individual but also for the society. Development Goal 4 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development states, ensure inclusive, equitable, and quality education and lifelong learning opportunities for all. Promoting education is therefore an important task that concerns all of us in any place all over the world. After almost 3 years of pandemic, probably the biggest challenge is getting back to the new normal. What is the new normal? Uganda, as a country where schools were closed for almost 2 years, faces particular challenges. On the one hand, it is a question of promoting formal education, but on the other hand, as we have heard, it is also a question of addressing all those young people who have never been back to school ever since. This task can only be mastered collectively through exchange, development of creative solutions, and cooperation. I wish for all of us that today's dialogue can contribute to these efforts, and I would like to take the opportunity to say a special thank to the team of the Media Challenge Initiative and the team of DW Academy for realizing the event and opening its doors to all of us. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Whom do I give it to?
All right, a round of applause for our partners, DW and BMZ. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. I am a Media Challenge Fellow, and DW Academy paid all our expenses while in the fellowship from day one to the end. And I'm proud to be part of the DW Academy. I'm proud of Media Challenge Initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, even as to when we want to discuss about education, remember there are some of the things that Uganda has gone through that we need to talk about again, isn't it? Many children in villages are walking kilometers to go to school. And even when they reach the school, the infrastructure is deplorable, isn't it? Even when the mabatis are stolen from here, they never reach the schools. Those who stole them say, I gave them to a school because it had some issues. I gave them to the churches. The Daily Monitor went to a certain school and said, we didn't find the mabatis there. Who is to suffer again? The African child, isn't it? Allow me welcome. We can't talk about education without inviting a school. So we invited a school to come and give us what they do best. And these are kids who sing very well. I think you can give a hand clap when they did for us on the national anthem. We appreciate you so much. They have a song they want to deliver to us this afternoon, and we want to welcome the Sites Choir. There you go. The floor is yours. If the song is not ready, can we have the poem? I'm told you also have another poem. Let's have the poem as the song is being prepared. Hello, hello, hello. My microphone is on, whoever is in the control room. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Gone are the days when we used to be MDD, and it was time for us to do the poem. And we said, the sun shines from the east and sets in the west. And the adjudicator says, what did you just say? Isn't it? Let's give them another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I'm seeing another Kavera. Kavera, you can stand up for recognition. Kavera does poetry. How many have followed her on Twitter? She's going to be giving us a cappella. Many people know about poets, yeah? Now she's doing another version called poetry. If you listen to her, you'll understand what I'm talking about, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Mandela Madiba from South Africa said, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Do we still rhyme on that statement? In Uganda, do we still rhyme on that statement? Can education in Uganda still change the world? You still believe in that? Allow me to welcome Dr. Dungu to give us the state of Uganda's education, whether we're still on track or we are all staggering and lost. Dr. Dungu, you're welcome to give us the state of Uganda's education, where we are, where we're heading, and what we assume it should be the state of Uganda's education. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Dungu.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ronald Dungu. I'm not yet a doctor, but I take it this afternoon. I'm happy to be here. I'm seeing all the youthful faces here. I'm happy to meet my seniors, Margaret, Philbert. Happy to be with you. I'm sorry I won't be here probably for long, but I will see what to do because I thought this engagement was earlier, so I came a little earlier. I just want to find out how many people are seated here and they were in the same primary school? Same, so it means you are 2 people, 3 in the same. Okay, how many are here and they were in the same secondary school? Wow. How many are here and they were in the same university? Probably more. Okay, okay. But we are here because we are journalists in the making. So is there a school that is focused, a primary school that is focused on producing journalists? Is there a secondary school that is focused on producing journalists? But as the youngsters said, with the lower secondary curriculum that is changing, we would like to see skills development, we would like to see intentional development, we would like to see particular themes coming through the schools. So I'm here to talk about where we are and where we want to go. I had a presentation, I don't know if it will come on, but as you may know, I'm not going to give you quite a number of statistics, but as you may know, the Ministry of Education, now that you're journalists, the Ministry of Education has the mandate to provide quality education and sports services to all Ugandans. That is our mandate, to make sure that we have quality education. And of course, somebody is asking, are you now providing quality education? Yes. We are intentional. We would like to see quality education. Next slide, whoever is moving the slides. Next slide, please. As journalists, I want you to know that data in the education sector is very important. And one of the strategies that we have is to enhance the collection of data through what we've called the Education Management Information System. And if you can take away something today, it is this, that we have the digital EMIS now, where we are collecting information on learners, teachers, non-teaching staff, and also infrastructure. And that is key to us, to know even